Okay. I think I can see it. 1 second. Okay, so I can see both of us, then it's good. Okay, I'm just letting people that we are here. Oh, okay. So people saying that they're here and just checking that they can see both of us. Good. Yeah, great. Okay, so Ben, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. So House of Mammoth, this is the name of your brand.
That's correct, yeah.
How did you get to this name? It's like the most interesting brand name that I ever come across.
So yeah, at first we were just a shaving brand. So I was thinking about the connection to, you know, the hair, the woolly mammoth, you know.
Okay.
But so for a long time, we were just making shaving soaps and learning how to make better and better products. And at one point I thought, you know, I'm going to start making my own fragrances for these products. And so that's how it started. And so we became much more than just shaving. So we changed the name from, it was Mammoth Soaps, and now it's House of Mammoth to include the fragrance approach as well.
Okay, so every now and then, I didn't tell you at the first, I will translate, okay? Because
Sure.
the reason that I build up this group is because there is a lot of information online, but English or French, but nothing
Right.
in local language. So, אז בעצם יש לנו פה את בן אספסיטו מהמותג House of Mammoth, ושאלתי אותו למה בכלל הוא הגיע לשם של המותג הזה, ערב טוב לכולכם, לטל, להילה, לריטה, ללימור, לשתי הלימוריות, תודה רבה שבאתם גם אתם, והוא אמר שהוא התחיל בתור מותג של קרם גילוח, אז הוא חשב על הדבר הכי שעיר שיכול להיות. So you got a golden pair. It's like the dream come true for every perfumer, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was very surprising. I only entered on a whim, and then to find out that I was a finalist, we thought, well, my brother lives in Los Angeles. I'm based in New York. So I thought my brother lives in Los Angeles. Well, at least go visit him, and it will be fun to go to an awards show, you know? But I didn't think that we were going to win. I just thought it would be something fun and interesting. And it really was just such a wonderful event. And yeah, it was a big surprise, a happy surprise to win the golden pair.
Yeah. אז שאלתי אותו, אמרתי לו, זכית בעצם באגס המוזהב, שזה בעצם הפרס, החלום של כל אחד, אז הוא אמר שהוא לא חלם על זה אפילו, הוא פשוט ניסה ככה על הדרך, וזה הצליח, הוא זכה, וזו הייתה באמת הפתעה גדולה. So how did you start your way? I mean, you have like a different job, right? You have a profession, you work in something else. So how did you decide to become a perfumer?
So yeah, I run a nonprofit children's summer camp program. And so I never thought, oh, let me go become a perfumer. I just was making the soap, and well, my wife and I made soaps for our wedding. They were bath soaps, and we thought, let's create our own special fragrance for the soap. And that was really kind of what started the whole thing. We thought, how special is it that you can create your own version or your own fragrance. And there were very limited information available online. I mean, there's some books that you can buy, but the information online was very limited. And so it really was just teaching myself a little bit at a time how to achieve different impressions and different accords, and then how to make them work together. So it's been a long journey. I think that was let's say we were married in 2015, I suppose.
I
so a little bit at a time.
You surely want to say I suppose.
Oh yeah, my wife probably wouldn't remember either.
So you started in 2015.
Yeah, that was just, we were just making things for ourselves to enjoy. And then when I decided to develop a shaving soap, then I started thinking people wanted to buy them. So I said, okay, well, maybe we can create something out of this and we can put some good into the world as well. So we started donating money to charity as well. So a portion of the sales of all of our soaps and now the perfumes also, we donate to help fight human trafficking.
Wait. You run a charity camp. What does it mean?
Yes, it's called Camp Arvonia, but I'm not the owner. That's just my job.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm in charge of it, but yeah. So it's a nonprofit camp. We serve, I would say, 700 to 800 children, ages 3 years old up to 14 years old, every summer for about 8 weeks.
וואו, אוקיי. אז שאלתי אותו בעצם איך הוא התחיל את הדרך שלו, אז בכלל המקצוע שלו הוא מנהל קייטנה של ארגוני צדקה לילדים כל קיץ, וזה לא עסק שלו, אבל הוא התחתן עם מישהי, וכשהם התחתנו ב-2015, אז הם החליטו לייצר סבוני מתנה לחתונה שלהם, הם הגיעו למסקנה שבעצם אין משהו טוב, לא יוצא דברים טובים, לא יוצא דברים טובים כשעושים סבונים. אם הייתם מנסים להכין סבונים, הייתם יודעים שאפשר לקנות כמה דברים כזה אונליין, כמה ריחות, לנסות, רוב הסיכויים שזה יצא לא מיוחד, לא שונה מאחרים, דברים מאוד בסיסיים, מאוד לא מיוחדים. אז הוא פשוט התחיל לחקור את הנושא וניסה לחשוב איך הוא יכול להכין סבונים שהם הרבה יותר עם ריחות שהוא יוצר בעצמו. So, I guess you and your wife are people that love to contribute to society, I guess, because I hear a lot that you donate and you donate from your product, and it's a cause for you. I mean, this is a big part of you and your wife, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it became a part of the brand. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have started selling anything from the beginning. My son was born in 2016. And so at the time I was thinking a lot about the world and what it was like and what kind of a world would he be living in and what kind of a father would I be. So at the time I thought, well, I want to try to, well, at the time I was very angry about what was happening in the world. So I remember thinking, this is not a good use of my time or my energy, and I need to find a way to put something positive into the world so that I can be the kind of person that I would want him to be able to look up to. And so that became a part of the brand from the beginning, was to say, well, this is something I can do creatively because I love to make things. And I've always been interested in anything from cooking to music and art and whatever it might be. I'm always creating. This was a way for me to exercise creativity and have a practice, an artistic practice, and then share that with the world, but then also make the world a better place in some way.
אוקיי, אז בעצם הוא מספר שכשהם הקימו את המותג של הסבונים שלהם, אז בעצם הם החליטו שהם תורמים לחברה מהרווחים שלהם. ובכלל כל המותג שלו הוא מותג שתורם עבור כל מיני עמותות שונות. הוא חשב לעצמו איך אני יכול להיות אדם טוב יותר. הוא אמר, אני נולד לי בן וראיתי את החברה שאנחנו חיים בה, וזה לא משהו שהייתי רוצה, והייתי רוצה משהו שהבן שלי יעריץ אותי על זה, ידע להיות מישהו שגאה באבא שלו. ובכלל כל חייו הוא היה אדם שמתעסק המון ביצירות, אם זה ציורים, אם זה סוגים שונים של אמנות, וזה פשוט השתלב כחלק מזה. So how you come to shaving foam? You don't have a beard, you don't look like those...
Not right now, because I shaved it.
When I start to explore your brand, then I saw a lot of people make YouTube's video while they're shaving. It's like a trend.
Yes,
I never, well, I'm a girl, but I never exposed to it. So a lot of people like your shaving brand, first of all. So I guess it's a very good one. But how you came to it?
I have to say, by the way, I'm very impressed that you can remember so much for translating. Very amazing. But yeah, so I didn't realize, but a friend of mine had started to get into it's traditional style shaving rather than using like a tube or a foaming gel or whatever. It's actually using a brush, and you know that was out of fashion because I guess it was took too long. But I think there was kind of a trend in folks to slow down and to take more time in taking care of yourself. And so that was my friend, I think, was interested in it at first, and then he told me about it. And once I learned about the soap side of things, because the shaving soap is a very different style of formulation than a bath soap or other types of soaps that I had made, then so something about me is that I'm a very curious person. And so when something catches my attention, I want to know how it works. And so that's what kind of drew me in. I said, I need to learn how to do this.
So you started by making like liquid soap, not bar soap, liquid soap?
At first I was making bar soap, so just bath soap. And then I was learning about all different types of bar soaps, and was just making them for us to use and our friends and family. We would give them away at holidays or, you know, for gifts. And so for a while, I was just getting a lot of practice and experience in making soap, and then I started practicing and experimenting with fragrances as well. When you do perfumery for skincare, it's a very different approach because the limits, you know, skin is very sensitive, and so you know there's certain things that you cannot use. I'm sure you know as a perfumer yourself. Then even if you're making an alcohol-based perfume, you can actually use more because you're just going to, you know, spray it. But if you're putting it on your face, especially if it's like a lotion or an aftershave, it's staying on there. And so there's risks of sensitization and irritation. So for a lot of it, it really forced me to dive deep into the science of various materials and how they worked. And I think that was really an education, was just coming at it from formulating skincare products. And then folks were saying that they really loved the fragrance so much that they wanted to be able to wear it as a perfume as well. And so I said, sure, you know, let me dive in and see, you know, what could work as a perfume, and then started to develop some of them a bit further.
אוקיי, אז בעצם שאלתי אותו, אז איך הגעת בכלל לקרם גילוח, הגעת לשייבינג, כי האמת היא כשחקרתי את המותג שלו, אז בעצם ראיתי שיש טרנד מטורף של אנשים שמתגלחים ועושים את זה ביוטיוב, תוך כדי שהם מעלים סרטון ביוטיוב, מתגלחים עם כל המוצרים, ומסתבר שסביב המותג שלו יש הייפ מטורף, כאילו מאוד אוהבים את הבית הזה בעניינים של גילוח. אז הוא חקר וניסה ונכנס, כי כשהוא התחיל בסבונים זה בסדר, סבון, בטח סבון מוצק זה משהו שאפשר, הטווח מאוד רחב של חומרים שאפשר להשתמש בו, אבל כשצריך לייצר קרם לפנים כמו שייבינג וקרם גילוח כזה, אז זה באמת בעיה, כי בושם זה משהו שהוא מתנדף, הוא מכיל המון אלכוהול, אבל כשאנחנו משתמשים בקרם לגילוח ודברים כאלו, אז זה חייב להיות משהו שהוא נשאר על האור, אז יש בו המון רגישויות, ולכן הוא יכול להשתמש במעט מאוד חומרים. חוץ מזה, בתוך עולם של בשמים, כשאנחנו צריכים לעשות משהו פונקציונלי, כמו להכין סבות, להכין קרם גילוח, להכין דברים כאלו שהם לא בושם, זה הכי קשה בעולם. יחסית הכי קל זה בושם, אבל הדברים האלו הם באמת הדברים שהם מאוד מאוד מורכבים. So it's very, I explained them that it's also very complicated to make like foam shapes because you have no information about it. I can find some formulas, I can find some accords, I can find some stuff on the net, on the perfume making group and others, but I can't really find the formula for a good shaving foam. I can look at Tender, but it's like very old.
Yes, well, I think it's the same thing for perfumery in a way, is there's a lot of people that either think that they can't do it, you know, so no one tries. And the people that did find out or did develop a practice of it, they try to maintain a lot of secrecy because for whatever reason, they want it to be a mystery and no one else can do this. So for me, it took me over a year of experimenting to learn. A bath soap is very simple. You could just take coconut oil and sodium hydroxide and make a really nice bath soap with that. Have you made soaps before? It sounds like you know something about.
Soaps, no, just for my kids' birthday, you know, like to melt and that's it, and to put some fragrance, but I never made something for sale or anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you could make a very simple formula, but if you want it to be for shaving, it needs to have all these other properties. It can't be too cleansing, it will dry your skin. It also needs to glide, you know, smoothly. And people that use a straight razor, which is, I don't know if you've seen those before, they're just a bare blade and there's no safety, right? So they want the foam to be very, they want the foam to be very thick, but like close to the skin. They don't want it to be out here. They want to be able to see what they're doing, you know? So there was all these different properties of various materials and the way they interact with different dyes and things that really just had to experiment. There are some books and there are some articles out there that you could look into. But a lot of what I've seen online is not that great.
Yeah, of course not. And you know, 1 year is very fast. 1 year is very fast because you develop not only the base, but you develop also the formula. So 1 year is I guess it was very intensive and you are very hard worker.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, and along in that same year, I was developing different fragrances also. And so I had the opportunity to send the soaps to different people. And, you know, I paid for all the materials and the shipping. And I said, can you just tell me what you think, you know? But I think that it was worth taking time to do it right. And then when I felt like I had something that I felt was good and was at least equivalent to what else was out on the market, I felt good that I could sell it. And it's the same thing with perfumery. It was, it's very hard to ask somebody to buy an experiment, you know? I don't know what I'm doing, but can you please buy this because it's like a hobby for me, you know? So I really feel like I want to spend the time to make sure that I learn what I'm doing and do multiple trials and patience and frustration, you know, and lots of failure. But to the point where now I think, oh, okay, I didn't just make something that is already out there. I made something that was interesting and that has a perspective to it. Maybe that isn't necessarily out there already. And maybe it's easier maybe to formulate fragrances if you just use the formulas that are out there. But there's such a wide variety of different styles and there's so much that you could do if you just take a little bit of time and experiment and try your own style, as opposed to, I think a lot of the popular, what happens is you have these cycles of where one perfume will become very, very popular and then suddenly there will be all types of imitations, not even the ones that are copies, you know, where they do
dupes, but a lot of clones, like it's the same.
Yeah, so there's clones, but then there are some where they'll do they'll they'll get the chemical makeup of it, and then they'll make something that's almost the same, but it's different enough. So then after a while, every brand has a perfume that smells almost exactly the same. And that's not interesting. I feel like that's very disappointing as a consumer when you spend money and you hear that something is really wonderful. That's one of the downsides to online influencers is sometimes they're paid and they're paid to say nice things. And so you don't really know what you're getting until you can sample it.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons why we try to offer samples so that people can try before they commit to buying something.
Wait, I need to translate. אז בעצם אמרתי לו שזה מאוד מסובך להכין את הדברים האלה וכמה זמן לקח לו ואיך הוא התחיל, אז הוא מספר שאחד הדברים שהניעו אותו זה בעצם שאין לו דברים כאלה בשוק וזה מאוד מסובך, אז הוא התנסה המון כי יש כל מיני סוגים של גילוח מסורתי יותר ופחות מסורתי, יש כאלה שמשתמשים עם להב ממש כזה כמו אצל הספרים של פעם, ויש כאלה שמשתמשים בסכין, והקרם עצמו צריך להיות מספיק חלק ומספיק עבה ומספיק מורכב בכדי שיהיה אפשר לגלח את הפנים כמו שצריך, וזה בעצם מצטרף להמון המון ניסויים שהוא עשה, והוא היה משלם על הכל ואפילו שולח לאנשים בכדי שינסו ויגידו לו אם זה מספיק טוב, אם זה מספיק איכותי. עכשיו, אחת הבעיות זה באמת, כמו שאמרתי, הוא ישב שנה זה מעט זמן, כי הוא גם ישב על פורמולה למוצר, וגם הוא ישב על פורמולה, ויש לו מלא פורמולות, מלא ריחופות, לאותם בסיסים ולאותם חמאות וקרמים. אז בעצם הוא אומר שמה שהיה לו חשוב זה לא לקחת משהו מוכן שכבר יש, כי זה כבר משעמם, הרי שכולנו יודעים שמותג אחד עושה משהו טוב, אז כולם הופכים להיות אותו דבר. אז אני מוצאת איזה 5-6 ריחות בארון שכולם על אותו סגנון, כי הם עושים את הניתוח של ה-GCMS, ואז הם קצת משנים אותו מספיק, כדי שהוא יהיה דומה, אבל לא זהה. ואנחנו לא רוצים את זה, אנחנו רוצים דברים שהם לא משעממים, אנחנו רוצים דברים שהם מיוחדים. אז זה מה שגם הניע אותו לייצר דברים לעצמו. ובגלל זה הוא גם הרבה פעמים הציע לאנשים דוגמיות, כי הוא אומר, אני לא יודע כמה הם יאהבו את הריחות, כמה הם ירצו את זה, אז אני נותן בכדי שהם יוכלו לקנות ולהתחבר למוצר. I think you're right, because you know, I just told someone that I like a perfume that I made, but it's not different. I have like 6 other in my cabin, so I need to make sure that if I'm going to throw everything, mine is going to stay. So it has to be,
Sure.
Yeah, like you said, it's a lot of it's the same. It's like you have at least 7-8 perfume that smells the same, and it's kind of boring. So how you come to making voices? Because I understand you took a part in before it, I have 2 questions from the people. One
Sure.
of them is why you don't send to Israel the perfume?
I'm sorry?
Why you don't send the perfume to Israel, only shaving? Is it hazard?
Oh, yeah. So in the United States, it's considered dangerous goods.
Dangerous good, yeah, it's expensive.
So I need to get a different
license
or permission or something. And because I have another full-time job and a family, I haven't had time to learn how to do that. I don't know if it's expensive or if it's time consuming.
Both.
So the way that I have tried to compromise is we have a few vendors who have agreed to carry, but I'm not really sure whether they ship to Israel either. I can ask.
I got the shaving and the blum. I think the aftershave is also come here, and I got some samples of your other perfumes. But if I wanted to buy like the big one, I couldn't. The shop.
Oh yeah, it won't allow it because it's set to US only for the alcohol-based products.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think it wouldn't even show. I'm not sure. It might not even show.
Because today I enter because I want to order for people here. So I saw that the splash was also available. So I need to check it carefully. But dangerous good, yes, it's definitely very, very expensive to deal.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that folks have told me is that they use, like I guess, a reshipper, some kind of intermediary.
I also
don't know
tried
anything
to do
about
it,
that.
but I'm old. I need to get my son to do it for me. I got the account, but I didn't understand how to. But I will succeed finally.
Yeah. Well, right now, the other thing is that right now, all of the products that we make are made by myself and one other person, and all of the shipping and is done by her. And so it's hard, like we don't have the capacity to really to so I almost try not to advertise too much to everyone. And even though we won an award, oh yeah, we won an award, but I didn't start buying ads and because God forbid if we suddenly had hundreds of orders, we have no way to keep up with demand because we make everything by hand from scratch. It's very different from hiring it's what's called a compounding house where they make it for you. So you just give them your formula and then they make whatever volume, but we make it all. I make all of the fragrances by hand myself, like personally. So it just means our capacity is more limited.
Someone here is ready to help you. They said that they want to help.
Very good.
1 second.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope that in the future we'll be able to have more freedom and distribution. It's just baby steps. It takes some time to be able to get those things in place.
1 second. אז הוא לא שולח כי עדיין אין לו רישיון לשלוח אלכוהול לישראל, אבל אם את הדוגמיות אני הצלחתי לקבל, את הקרם גילוח הצלחתי לקבל, יש המון דברים שכן הצלחתי לקבל, ואפשר להשתמש בשירותים של ה-US Shops האלה, שאתם נותנים כתובת אמריקאית או משהו, ואז זה מגיע לכאן. So one thing I just want to tell you is when I look at the other winners, I thought that you are well branded and you are quite ready to start and you like already in a very good position to start your journey after the winning. So
yeah, sure.
I got a lot of credit for you for being a brand that I think is very look very good. Also
I
very
appreciate. I'm actually working right now. So a lot of the branding side started with just getting a logo custom made by an artist, years ago, and that was this logo. And then since then we sort of tried to, so just tried to use that, and a lot of what the website and things like that is just kind of piecing together whatever I'm able to do, because all of that stuff also takes quite a bit of money. I think sometimes you can be sort of a victim of the tools that we have available. So Shopify, I use Shopify, and so do multinational corporations, and so it's hard for a customer to tell the difference between your site and some huge company website, because we can add and customize and we can make it look nice, but again, it's only 2 people, so if I'm sick one day or if I can't find the material, it's not going to be restocked, and if my production partner who ships the orders goes on vacation, that's it, we're closed. So every year we close for a month and a half in December into January, and I tell everybody, sorry, you can't buy anything, and be like, well, how could you be closed? You're supposed to be trying to make all of the money that you possibly can. And
time out, it's not possible in the holidays.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing, because I understand people want to buy, and so we said, okay, if you want to buy any gifts for the holidays, buy them up until this day and we'll ship it for you. But after that, but I think that's the other thing, is that folks don't realize that I know that whatever capitalism or whatever our lifestyle, we feel this kind of panic below the surface, or we feel very disturbed or unsettled that at some point something might happen and it will all come crashing down. And so we have to just push, use every moment and try to make as much money and get ahead. And as much as I can, I don't want to buy into that. So if I can separate myself from that mindset, I think it's very healthy us as human beings. And then certainly if you're a creative person, you can't be in that mindset. It's not very conducive to
Yeah, it's not.
yeah,
Sometimes
it's not,
cut down.
good.
אז,
Yeah.
אז בעצם הוא גם מספר שהוא ורק עוד מישהו אחד בעצם מייצרים הכל מאפס, הוא מייצר מההתחלה עד הסוף והשני שולח, אז הם אפילו לא מפרסמים ואפילו לא עושים פרסום ודברים כאלה, כי הם לא עומדים בעומס של ההזמנות. זה לא שהם לא רוצים, הם רוצים הזמנות, אבל הוא אומר לאט לאט, צעד צעד, אנחנו נסדר את האתר, אנחנו נגדיל את הזה, הם כרגע לא נמצאים במקום שמבקבק להם או מייצר להם, כי אפשר לקחת מפעל ולתת לו את הפורמולה ולתת להם לבקבק, אבל זה עדיין לא שם, זה עדיין לא משהו מרגיש. ובכלל הוא אומר, יש להם חודש וחצי בשנה שהם בעצם סוגרים, או אם מישהו חולה אז העבודה לא, אין הזמנות. ויש משהו בזה שעם אורך החיים הקפיטליסטי שלנו, שזה מאוד משתק הרבה פעמים את היצירתיות שלנו. אז זה משהו שהוא מאוד מאוד בעד. הוא אומר, אוקיי, אני יודע שאני צריך כל הזמן לדחוף למצב שלא יהיה, אבל אני עדיין, טוב לי ככה, טוב לי כרגע כמו שאני, ואני לאט לאט גודל, וזה בסדר גמור. Someone asked, how do you choose a stand that you want to work on? By a trend, by a period in life, or whatever you like? How do you choose it?
I think this sort of goes back to what we said before, what we were talking about before with the trends and the popular
it's a question for
formulas. Yeah. So I have talked to other perfumers, and I think that as independent perfumers, artisan perfumers, we have some flexibility and we have kind of the luxury of being able to choose our projects, not necessarily based on what will make the most money, where I think the reason why you have, a popular perfume will come out and then suddenly there's a rush of dupes and imitators is because people want to capitalize on the success and, well, I'm going to make something in that trend, and then that almost creates the trend, because everybody's rushing to make the same perfume that they know is going to sell. And that's how you end up having so many similar, smelling perfumes. So right now, BR 540, is oh, well, I'm going to make something that smells like that too. And so you walk down the street and everybody smells like cotton candy. And it's just because ethyl maltol is just an overdose in everybody's perfume. And especially a perfume like that, because it's very simple to make and the materials are very cheap and they perform incredibly well. So you can make a perfume for very, very cheap. And people don't know that. They just know that, the original one, the innovator, let's say, was a luxury house and did something different by overdosing all these materials. And it was a unique smell to people. So for me, when I'm choosing my projects, I feel like the fun of it is not making something that is already out there. If anything, the fun of it is not starting with an assumption of, the Grossman Accord or some specific thing that everybody has already proven is a good thing. But the fun of it is, oh, what can I do to make this feeling or emotion or location or whatever it might be? So you asked about voices before.
Yeah.
That one in particular was in collaboration with my wife and then also other people that I'm friends with. And we really wanted to do something that would raise some awareness for, after the pandemic, there was a lot of hatred against Asian people in the United States. And so we said, well, how do we respond to that hatred with something generous and an invitation to tell people, well, this is something about the Asian experience that you might not know.
Is your wife is Asian?
Yeah, she's from Malaysia originally. So we started talking about, well, what could that be? And we started thinking about food, and so a lot of it is just those conversations. And where does the inspiration come from? Well, it's anything from other people to life experiences. The one that I'm working on right now that we just posted about the other day is a friend of mine who lost a child.
I saw it.
we had been talking about that for the last few years. I told him, look, I would love to do something to help, you know, and I think everybody, you know, that he knew said, let us know if there's anything we can do to help. And so for that one, there was just a clear inspiration of kind of childlike innocence and thinking about what were some of the things that this child really loved. And he loved eating oranges and being outside and marshmallows and all of that. And so it was just like, okay, I can make something with that, you know? And so the challenge there was, well, then how do we keep it feeling youthful and solar, summery? Because, you know, it's very easy to make something that feels like a mature, you know, a perfume that someone would wear out. But a lot of times folks will shy away from something that smells, well, I like oranges, but I don't want to smell like I spilled orange juice on myself. But if you're a 3-year-old and you're eating oranges, the juice is just running down your hands and it's on your shirt the whole day, you know? So for me, the challenge is, how do I make it smell like orange juice and all of the other things, and let the orange linger so that it's like a child that was eating the oranges and it's all over, and he didn't wash, he just went outside and started playing in the grass, you know? So there's this overlapping of fragrances. And so anyone who has had a child or has been a child, even, you can remember those memories. And hopefully when you spray the fragrance, you'll be able to kind of enter into that world. So you didn't have to lose a child. Maybe you had a 3-year-old and they grew up and became an adult, you know, and you missed that time when they were a 3-year-old. So a lot of the inspiration for me comes from something that I can make a personal connection with, because otherwise it's not interesting. It's hard for me to sit at the perfumer's table and say, let me make something that smells like it will sell for a lot of money, you know, or let me make something that will make people feel like they are wealthy, or, you know, I want to make something that makes somebody connect with themselves and with other people. That communication and connection, I think, is important. I'm sorry, go ahead.
לא, it's okay.
Yeah.
אז בעצם שאלתי את השאלה של לימור, איך אתה בעצם בוחר את הדברים, אז הוא אומר, אוקיי, אני יכול לעשות משהו שהוא, מה זה טרנד? טרנד זה, יש איזה מותג שמוציא איזה משהו, ואז פתאום כולם יודעים שהמותג הזה עשה מלא כסף מהבושם הזה, אז הם מייצרים את אותם פסמים. ככה נהיה טרנד. הטרנד הזה הוא תמיד בעקבות כסף, הוא קפיטליסטי לחלוטין. אז הוא אומר, אני לא רוצה לעשות משהו שהוא ללכת אחרי דברים שעושים כסף. אוקיי, אני יודע מה מריח טוב. אני יודע שגרוסמן אקורד של טרז'ור או של סופיה יביא לי פה המון הצלחה. אני יודע שאנשים אוהבים את זה, אני יודע שזה יקור, אבל זה לא מה שאני רוצה לעשות. אני יודע שאם אני אקח את מלטול ואני אשים אותו בכמויות גדולות, אני גם אקבל בושם זול, אני אקבל את בקרה אורז, סליחה לימור, אם אמרתי בטעות לבטאת, אבל אני לא רוצה להיות במקום הזה שאני רודף כל הזמן, והמטרה שלי היא בעצם לעשות לכאורה כסף, אלא אני בעצם רוצה לעשות משהו שמחבר בין אנשים. ולמשל voices, הבושם שהוא זכה איתו, זה בושם שנועד באמת, זה התחיל מתוך איזשהו פודקאסט שהוא עשה עם חברים שלו, ואשתו היא אסיאתית, היא ממלזיה, והם דיברו על השנאת אסיאתים שהייתה בארצות הברית במיוחד, בגלל המגפה. כי חשבו כל הזמן שאם אתה אסיאתי, אתה בעצם מביא המון מחלות, אתה מביא את הקורונה וצריך להשתים אותך, ואנשים מתים בגללך. אז בעצם הוא אמר, אני רוצה לעשות משהו שהוא, המטרה שלו בעצם לחבר בין אנשים. למשל עכשיו הוא עובד על בושם, שיש לו חברים שהם איבדו את הבן שלהם כשהוא היה בן 3, וכל הזמן אומרים להם מה אפשר לעשות עבורכם, אז הוא אמר, אני יכול לנסות להכין בושם שיגרום לכם לנסות להיזכר בו. אז הוא אומר, כשאני מכין את הבושם הזה, אז אני מכין משהו שהוא, אני חושב על הילד, אני חושב, זה ילד שמאוד אהב להיות בחוץ, אבל הוא גם ממש אהב לאכול תפוזים, וכשהוא אוכל תפוזים, אז כל התפוזים נמרחים עליו ומשפריצים עליו, אבל הוא לא רוצה לעשות עכשיו משהו כמו מיץ תפוזים שנשפך על החולצה, למרות שאני רואה שאלה ולימור בעניין, אבל הוא רוצה גם לתת את התחושה הזאת של לקחתי את הידיים לתפוז, ואז הלכתי לשחק עם זה בדשא. אז הוא אומר, זה משהו שיחבר בין אנשים, כי זה יהיה טוב לא רק לאותו אדם לא יהיה טוב רק לאותו אדם שבעצם איבד את הבן שלו, אלא אולי הייתם נורא עסוקים בתקופה של הילדות של הילדים שלכם, ואתם רוצים לחזור קצת אחורה, כי הילדים שלכם התבגרו, אז זה המקום בעצם לחבר פה בין אנשים. So, can you tell me about voices more? How did you start this creation, this creative? I'm sorry that I'm taking a lot of your time. It was very interesting and people are adoring you for your kindness and for your careness, for your care for other people. It's not very common today.
Sure. Well, I mean, I have plenty of time. My son is watching the Mario Brothers movie in the other room, so so I'm okay for now. But voices, so one of my collaborators said, well, how about something with mango? And I thought, I had an earlier fragrance that I had been working on, and I was trying to do something else, and at some point I did something and smelled the trial, and my wife said, that smells just like green mango, and I said, oh, well, I'm going to make a note of that. This is not right for this perfume, but I'm going to make a note of what that was. And so when fast forward, this is why it's very good to take lots of notes, right?
Yeah, it is.
So fast forward, I spoke with some folks in the project, and they said, well, what if we use mango? And I think at first they just wanted it to be only mango. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting, but maybe more than just that. But I thought back to that little accord that I had made, and I said, yes, let's do that. Sounds like a really nice challenge, because a lot of natural materials I love, but people don't realize that natural materials are just made up of all of these chemical components as well. So I think people think that you can take a mango and, squeeze it into a bottle, right?
It's natural perfume.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are plenty of materials that are, much more, much easier. So orange is a good example, or lemon, there's various essential oils where you can actually, you can get the natural material and it's all the chemical components are there already. And then you can kind of enhance them or decorate them in your perfume or use them in your perfume. But mango is not possible to do that. There's nothing you can extract from a mango that will smell like mango in the same way that a lemon essential oil, will smell just like the lemon peel or whatever it might be. So that was, I think, what originally made me think, yes, this is a good direction, for this perfume, because it's interesting to me. It's a challenge,
It is.
So
a challenge.
Yeah. So where the other one that the new one, Everett, is more of a challenge of keeping it from being too simple, because you can use orange essential oil or folded orange or whatever it might be. In this case, it was a challenge because it was something I had to kind of figure out from scratch.
One second, my kid, Ziv,
Yeah.
Say, bye. Sorry, they have to interrupt me every Zoom. So
It's okay. We can bring our kids here and they can talk to each other too. But so then from there, I thought, okay, well, what else can we do to make this fuller, to make it more of an immersive experience? And I had been working with some rice materials, just again, because it's curiosity. I think I've done the same thing with a lot of other projects where, like cooking is a good example. I go to the grocery store and there's a fruit or a vegetable that I've never tried or used. So I would just buy my regular groceries and then I would put that one in the basket too. And then I challenge myself to go home and learn about it and try to figure out if I could make something interesting from it. And so with perfumery, I think I've done a similar thing. I didn't set about to become a master perfumer. I just decided to become an expert in a small group of materials that made sense for a project that I was working on. And then when I started working on a new project, well, then I started researching that, the materials that create that impression, and then using what I had from before. And then so slowly over time built my perfumer's organ from that. so it was the same thing. You know, I brought in materials. And I thought, oh, I've never used this before, so let me use it. And I think some people are afraid. You know, they want to stay in the thing that they know. But for me, again, I want to try something new. You know, so almost every one of my formulas has new materials that I've never used in other ones before. So it just keeps pushing forward into different directions. So the rice came from that. But then there's all these sort of cool perfumer's tricks that you can use to enhance and support. If you take a mango, if you've tried mangoes, you know that there's so many different ways that you could eat it. You could eat it green, and you know, you can dip it in some salt and sugar and spices or whatever, and it's crunchy like a green apple almost, and it's kind of tart and astringent a little bit. All the way to the other end where it's just completely sweet and like juicy and things, and everything in between. So there's florals in there even, you know, there's sour notes, there's sweet notes, there's even some like terpene, like kind of evergreen pine type notes in there too. And so I started to think about, okay, well, if I'm going to do this with the rice, then I think mango sticky rice makes the most sense. But let's not make it super, super sugary, because the mango can already be sweet, and then you're adding this coconut and some other rice. So let me find a way to balance that. And then, so the first few trials were just trying to get something that did smell like mango sticky rice on its own. And I remember at one point my wife said, okay, this is it. I want to eat this. It's ready. And I was like, okay, well, let me keep going, you know? So along the way, it's nice that I have her and then my collaborators I could send out trials and get feedback from them, which is very different from the way that I normally work, where it's primarily me and then setting things aside for a while to give my mind and my nose a chance to rest before I go back to smell them again. Because your brain starts to block out information, you know, from your sensory receptors. If you keep smelling it over and over again, you won't smell it anymore, you know, which is a real problem if you're a perfumer. So it's nice to have other people that you can show. So for voices, it was just that process of kind of push and pull and seeing how I definitely had it much more avant-garde, and you know, one team of collaborators wanted it very simple, and my wife just wanted to eat it, you know. So I think all of the different elements kind of brought it to one specific spot. But then I gave myself the final say over what the final would smell like. So a lot of it was also then saying, okay, well, is this just going to smell edible, or is this going to be a wearable perfume? And I wanted it to be both. I wanted it to be reminiscent of the dish, but then I wanted people to also feel like they could spray it on and be like, ooh, this is something different, you know, that I've never worn in some way. So taking all of those elements, so the sourness, the sweetness, the greenness, and then finding complementary notes that would kind of support them and enhance them, so that it started with, like, say, a drawing of a mango, and then it turned into a real mango, and then it almost went like exploded a little bit, you know, just went like a little bit further in every possible direction. And that's what ended up becoming the finished voices.
אוקיי, אז בעצם שאלתי אותו איך הוא הגיע לוויסס, אז אמרנו שהוא רצה לעשות משהו שהוא קשור לאסייתים כדי לתמוך, ובאמת הם תורמים מההכנסות האלו. אז זה התחיל בזה שהוא אמר, אוקיי, אני אלך על מנגו, ואז הוא נזכר שכשהוא עבד פעם, אז הוא יצר לעצמו איזה אקורד של מנגו שאשתו אמרה לו, זה מריח פה מנגו ירוק. אז הוא אמר, אוקיי, אני ארשום לי, שים לי את זה בצד. אז הוא אמר, טוב, אני אתחיל לעבוד על מנגו. והוא אומר שכשהוא עובד על תהליך היצירה שלו, אז בעצם זה כמו בבישול. הוא יודע לבשל, אוקיי, אבל פתאום הוא רואה איזה מרכיב שהוא לא ראה מעולם, אז הוא הולך והוא קונה את המרכיב הזה בסופר. ואז הוא נאבק בכדי למצוא דרך ללמוד איך להשתמש ברכיב הזה. ואז הוא אמר אותו דבר בבישום, אני קונה לעצמי חומרים, אני מנסה להכין איזשהו רעיון, איזה משהו שאני רוצה, ואני לומד את החומרים האלה עד שאני מבין אותם בדיוק, איך הם עובדים, איך הם משתלבים. אבל אז אני עובר לבושם הבא, ואני לומד את הקבוצה הבאה של החומרים שקניתי עכשיו, ואני לומד אותם, ואני מרכיב משהו חדש בזה. ובכל בושם שיש לי, אני בעצם מכניס רכיב חדש שלא השתמשתי בו קודם. ואני משתמש בניסיון שלי, בלמידה שלי שעשיתי מהבושם הקודם, מהרכיבים הקודמים, ואני מעביר את זה הלאה, וככה אני מפתח את האורגן שלי ואת כמות החומרים שאני משתמש בהם. והוא אומר, מנגו יש לו המון המון אספקטים, יכול להיות מנגו שהוא נורא עם מלח, ויכול להיות מנגו שהוא קצת יותר ירוק, ויכול להיות מנגו שהוא יותר פרחוני. ובשלב מסוים הוא יצר משהו שהוא אמר, אוקיי, אז המנגו זה בסדר, אבל אני אוסיף פה איזשהו אורז. ואז הוא אמר, אוקיי, אז סטיקי רייס, כי אורז דביק זה הדבר שהכי מתאים פה יהיה למנגו. ואז אשתו אמרה, טוב, זהו, אני רוצה לאכול את זה, זה כנראה זה מוכן. והוא אומר, לא, אני רוצה משהו שמצד אחד יהיה מאוד מיוחד, אבל השותפים שלו לפודקאסט אמרו, לא, אנחנו רוצים משהו שהוא יהיה פשוט. אז המאבק הזה בין משהו שהוא אוונגרדי, לבין משהו שהוא אכיל, לבין משהו שהוא פשוט, עדיין הוא אמר, אני בסוף יחליט מה שיהיה. אז יש לו פה בושם שהוא מצד אחד, אני יכולה להגיד לכם שהוא אכיל, כן, אני יכולה להריח את האוכל. מצד שני, הבושם הזה הוא בושם לביש לחלוטין. זה משהו שאני יכולה לשים על עצמי, ואני לא ארגיש את המנגו המתוק הזה, כי הוא בעצם עידן את המתיקות של המנגו עם התווים השניים של האורז, של הווטיבר, של הקוקוס וכן הלאה. So I told them that you made like a beautiful creation in the end because it's definitely what you wanted. It's something that I can say, okay, I can imagine food, but it's definitely a wearable scent. I mean, I would definitely put it on the skin. My son also like it, so it's a very unisex
That's good.
perfume. Yeah, I gave him the shaving.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it's something that is very. It's not like a mango that is very sweet and fruity. It's like very delicate mango and it's very special. You came to balance it in a very interesting way. So
thank you. I very much appreciate that.
I adore you every time you talk because you work and I can see that you don't look for shortcuts, I guess. I guess you work all the way, you put yourself into a project and you definitely work hard to get it. So it's very admiring for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad that you like it so much. You know, that's really makes it all worth it really when people say, oh, I really get what this is about and I really enjoy it. That's very nice.
I smell some other perfume that you make. I smell I like the Lייב, I think its name, with the apple. Wow. The apple is amazing, I think. It was definitely in the sondar, right? There is one sondar.
It's just really fun, you know, being able to come up with stuff that maybe feels a little bit unlikely, but then you say, oh no, I actually really enjoy this. That's really good.
Definitely. And for a finish, first I tell you thank you, but I really want to ask you a question that I ask a lot of people who come to me. And if you have like 5 minutes in heaven or in earth or in a closet with any perfumer that you could dream on, who would it be?
Which perfumer would I want to spend time with? Oh man, I don't know. I'm not super knowledgeable about all of the perfumers.
Me too.
But there are some that I feel that I respect for one reason or another. You know, there's so many really wonderful independent perfumers that I've gotten to know a little bit in America, and even from the awards, you know, that were also wonderful. I also follow a number of people, so it's very fun to see. From on one side, I think there's a lot of activism going on from people like Christoph. I'm sure you know Christoph. And that's, I think, really cool to see. I don't know. I'm not sure what I would say. And then just other people that are making things that are, what's that?
Do you wear perfume? Do you wear perfume? Do you wear?
Me? Yes and no. I have gone through stages where I will wear the same thing every day for a month. And then a lot of times if I'm composing something, then I'm not really wearing anything. You know, that of course is I'm trying to avoid wearing things as much as possible. But sometimes it's also important, you know, in the middle of something to take a break and set it aside So I have things that I will reach for and wear that I know will be safe. But I'm sure you know too, there's some just natural materials or, you know, that I could just wear as a perfume on its own. You know, like I would take a little bit of oak moss and just, you know, and I'm done. A little bit of sandalwood or you don't really need, you know, vetiver is
No,
wonderful. I would
you
just
don't
wear a little bit of that, you know, and I'm good.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
People think I'm crazy, but I'm telling them you can't really wear perfume when you're working. So every time you have like one trial here, sometimes you don't have anything on yourself. And when you
Yes.
decide something is finished, it's interesting. When you decide that this perfume is finished.
That could be really any number of different things. Sometimes, you know, there's a specific deadline for it. So it's just, I'll do my best up until the point where the deadline is coming up. And then when the deadline is there, that's what it is, you know? I don't really think that there's an ideal or a perfect, you know, version of any perfume. It's really just whatever the best that you could do for that day, you know? I've actually gone back to previous soap fragrances and I thought, I can do that better now. You know, a couple of years later, now that I know, I'm gonna do that again. And so I do that again from scratch. You know, I throw the formula away, sort of, you know, throw the formula away, and then I start from the beginning. And I think, what was I trying to achieve? And then I redo the whole thing from scratch. So that's really, really fun.
Wow.
So I think I feel like nothing's ever really finished. It's just it is what it is for that day, you know.
one second. אז בעצם שאלתי אותו כמה דברים, איזה בשם היה רוצה לשבת ולהעביר את הזמן שלו, אז הוא אומר, יש פה כל כך הרבה, הוא לא מכיר את כולם, אבל הוא כן היה מעדיף בן אדם של עקרונות, הוא הכיר המון בשמים אינדים למשל, ואחד מהאנשים שהוא מעריך מאוד, וכמובן כריסטופר לודומל, שהוא תמיד אומר את הדעות שלו ולא מתבייש, והולך נגד הבתים הגדולים ומספר את כל הסודות, ושאלתי אותו, מתי הוא מחליט האם הוא בכלל שם בשמים על עצמו, אז הוא אומר לא, כאילו, אני שם, אבל יש תקופות שאני יכול לשים את אותו בושם חודש, ויש תקופות שאני לא שם כלום, כי כשאני מכין דברים אני לא יכול לשים משהו על עצמי, אז צריך להיות מינימום עריכות להיכנס בעצם לחדר עבודה, ויש דבר, באמת ימים שכל מספיק חומר אחד, מספיק שאני אשים וטיבר על היד שלי וזהו, לא צריך בושם. יש המון חומרים כמו אוקמוס, שאני שמה קצת על היד שלי מורחת וזהו, אני לא צריכה יותר מזה, זה הופך להיות הבושם. וחוץ מזה שאלתי אותו מתי הוא חושב שהבושם שלו מוכן, אז הוא אומר שזה מוכן, זאת אומרת אם יש פה איזשהו דדליין ואני צריך להגיש אותו ואני צריך לסיים, אז אני מסיים. אף פעם אין לי משהו שהוא באמת, אם אני אשב ואחכה אז אין דבר כזה בושם שהוא אידיאלי, והיום אני חוזר אחורה לפורמולציות הראשונות שעשיתי, ואני כאילו מכין אותה מההתחלה, מנסה לחשוב היום עם הידע החדש שיש לי, איך הייתי בונה אותה מחדש, איזה תחושה הייתי רוצה לעבור, כי רוב הזמן כשהוא מדבר איתנו, הוא מדבר על איזה תחושה אני רוצה להעביר, ואיזה קשר אני רוצה להעביר בין הבושם לבין הבן אדם, אז זה אחד הדברים שבאמת חשובים. So Ben, thank you so much for your time, and you're so interesting, and it's so nice to see a person with a lot of I lost the word, but a lot of idealistic, I mean, a lot of thinking, I mean, how can I do good for others? How can I communicate between people? I can say that people here say it was really lovely, I wish I could purchase to ship to Israel. בקרוב, אני בטוחה שאעשה. A lot of people here, I gave them to smell and they say it's lovely also, it's very balanced. I think the word very balanced is like the most compliment I think a person can get, right?
That's very good.
Because it's not balanced enough, it's always like, it's not, this one jumping, this one jumping. No, the balance is like, wow. So thank you very much. I hope you have a good Sunday. I guess it's an off day, and a good summer. And I hope we'll meet again soon.
Yes. Thank you so much,
Luck with
Ava. I
everything.
appreciate your time. And thank you to everybody in the group too. I can't see everyone, but I just want to say thank you for tuning in. It really is an honor.
Thank you very much, Ben. Bye bye.
Bye.